Welcome to Prime Business. I am Emma Davis. To our stories, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, is cautioning speculators who project depreciation of the cedi due to the current challenge faced by the local currency to desist from that. The governor disclosed this after the Monetary Policy Committee met to review developments in the economy. George Wafi has the rest of the story.
The governor's warning was based on some fresh measures being introduced that could help in firmly stabilizing the Ghana cedi.
The task force is relatively straightforward. We have a department in the bank. This is the other financial institutions supervision department, which is responsible for managing the foreign exchange bureaus. And they do have on-site visits.
Dr. Ernest Addison is also rejecting suggestions that the IMF program has tied the hands of the Bank of Ghana, making it difficult to intervene in stabilizing the local currency.
Information that I had, especially at the 3i Summit, we got some time to interact very much with a lot of the remittance transfer operators. And it's clear that most of them work with both the fintechs and the banks. So these foreign exchange resources associated with remittances are placed in the nostril balances of our commercial banks, and the banks have access to those resources to finance imports. So it comes to the broader Ghanaian banking system.
There's also been rejecting argument that the majority of extra proceeds have not been returned to the economy.
And we are quite certain that the fund meeting on Ghana definitely will take place in June, given the fact that we have met most of the performance criteria.
This is what the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, had to say on the advisor that has been appointed to help in recapitalizing UNB.
The advisor is doing very well. He has submitted his first report. I think for us it's very assuring that we have somebody there keeping oversight on what is going on there. And I think that so far the report that he has brought are quite satisfactory. We've already made the assessment on the impact of all these contractor payments and IPP payments. It's very fundamental to the current circumstances, right? In the briefing that I gave, I talked about the fiscal position, government expenditures, the composition of those expenditures, the big items in the government expenditures. These are contractor payments and IPP payments. This has an impact in terms of the size of the fiscal deficit.
On decline in lending to businesses, the governor argued the development was expected, looking at the current challenges facing the economy. He also believes that the situation should improve in the coming months.
A lot of informal flows between Ghana, Togo, Benin, and I believe Nigeria. So nobody can rule that out. And we just have to be vigilant. That's all.
Professor of Finance and Economics at the University of Ghana, Charles Aka, has taken a swipe at the government for failing to address structural challenges causing the Ghana cedi to depreciate, even though he admitted that the recent fall of the cedi could be partly attributed to the payment of arrears to contractors and the independent power producers. Professor Aka argued or urged government that they have no excuse but to remedy the situation.
Research Initiative project will provide sub-grant to research institutions and industry players to undertake research on how the digital technologies could be leveraged to create employment opportunities in the green economy, especially for marginalized groups in West and Central Africa. Professor Charles Aka, speaking to Joy Business, indicated that government would have to do more to save the cedi.
I think we have a structural problem. The structural problem is that we don't have adequate forex in the country. That's simple. Okay, if you have enough forex, then even if you pay contractors and they exchange it, you still have enough to release into the market, and there's adequate in the market. I don't think there's sufficient in the market. And how do we get adequate forex in the market? The supply side has to be fixed. The supply side will come normally from export. So if we don't have enough Ghanaian industries that are producing at scale and able to export all over to the global market, you will not have adequate supply of forex in the country. So we have to look at the Ghanaian industries. Are they productive? Are they producing? Are they competing? Are they exporting? How do we raise export? How do we build an export-driven economy?
Director at the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Korte, called for more investment in technology.
They bend before they cultivate. But with green jobs, you don't even have to. At your back house, you can have greenhouse technology and be producing all year round. These emerging jobs also provide flexibility, but also require less traditional forms of education and training. The jobs also have the potential to create new opportunities for those who have been excluded, historically have been excluded from the job market. Women, poor people, physically challenged, etc.
The 5-year initiative project will be funded by the International Development Research Center and would be managed by the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research at the University of Ghana.
Away from the city, tanker drivers have finally reached an agreement with the NPA, Association of Oil Marketing Companies, and tanker owners to enforce a new framework aimed at improving service conditions. This will ensure that from 1st July 2024, the drivers will receive appropriate remunerations as stipulated in the new policy framework. Deputy General Secretary of the General Transport Drivers and Chemical Workers Union of the TUC, Francis Sala, has been speaking at a news conference.
The document itself has been negotiated by all parties. When we say all parties, we are making reference to the Tanker Owners Union and then the AOMCs and us. It was coordinated by the NPA. You were aware of the strike that happened, and now the strike has been called off after a meeting with all the stakeholders last week. Now, this week, Monday and today, we met on the document because other stakeholders involved indicates there are other portions in the document that needs a bit of clarity. So we met on it yesterday and today. We have cleared many of the doubts in the document. Inclusive of it is employer-employee relationships. That must be adhered to. We would finish this hopefully tomorrow. If we don't finish, we would continue and ensure that parties are clear on all aspects. And then by the end of June, all data of the tanker operators and the assistants would then be captured. That is before the end of June, to ensure that effective 1st July, all the tanker operators and the assistants will receive their monthly salaries and other allowances that is required. Inclusive of it would also be their road trip allowances. These are issues that had bothered them over time. And people also assume that because of this, the operators do pilfer. We still doubt that. We doubt it. But however, if somebody is working for you and you don't pay the person, what do you expect the person to do? And so with this in place now, we don't think that any operator or assistant will be tempted, if they do, to still go on pilfering. Because if you do that, you do it at your own detriment.
The continent Africa is said to be lagging behind when it comes to tapping into the immeasurable potential the blue economy has to offer. Blue economy focuses on sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, improved livelihoods, provision of jobs while preserving the ocean's ecosystem. Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of African Blue Economy, Mabe Abelson, says for Ghana and Africa at large to benefit from these, conscious efforts have to be made.
Blue economy is the sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, improved livelihoods, provision of jobs while preserving the ocean's ecosystem. It is in this vein that the Chamber of African Blue Economy has been established to facilitate collaboration, drive innovation and promote responsible practices that will unlock the socio-economic potential of the continent's coastal and marine resources as it conserves their ecological use. Some benefits from ocean and freshwater include aquaculture, fisheries, shipping, transport, wind energy, but to mention a few. Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of African Blue Economy, Mabe Abelson, says Ghana and Africa at large stand to benefit greatly when these untapped resources are used sustainably.
Let us consider a process that promotes the coordinated development and management of water, land and related resources in order to maximize economic and social benefits in a fair manner without compromising the sustainability of vital ecosystems. Through strategic partnerships, the Chamber aims to empower African nations to capitalize on the opportunities offered by the blue economy while addressing environmental challenges and fostering social inclusivity. An essential aspect of this mission is attracting investment to drive innovation and economic growth through our various projects we are yet to initiate. Whether you represent a government agency, an NGO, an academic institution, or a private sector company, we invite you to explore partnership opportunities with us. Together, we can catalyze positive change, build resilience, and unlock the full potential of Africa's blue economy for the benefit of present and future generations.
According to marine engineer Dr. York Abedu, blue economy can be a source of employment for the teeming youth of Africa, as more than 37 African countries have coastlines.
The oceans have potential uses, and we know that there are certain nations that do not have any resources apart from recreation at the beach, and they are making huge amount of money. What about us? The benefits, as I said, is huge. I mean, if we want to make sure that our fishing industry is growing, our energy, when we say energy, we are talking about production and exploration of oil and gas. But many people don't know that we can use the oceans and seas to produce electricity. So all these must be, will be done by me and you.
Despite these benefits, Head of Nautical Studies Department at Regional Maritime University, Captain Joseph Benedict Obin, says there is knowledge gap when it comes to blue economy. Hence, the need to build capacity in the areas of education, sustainability, and the environment.
So one of the challenges that we have is capacity building. Having enough people to be able to come out with research papers, be able to come out with innovative ideas that will enable us to harness the resources that we have. And then there is the issue of sustainability. Today we are going there to exploit the resources there. Are we mindful of how we're going to make use of this so that the future do not become victims of our greed today? That's another challenge that we need to look at. And then we have issue of environment.
The Chamber of African Blue Economy holds a view that research findings and proposals in the area must not go waste, as it is ready to help in the implementation of same, including collaborations with stakeholders. The Chamber is dedicated to advancing sustainable development and prosperity in coastal, marine and freshwater environments in Africa.
Chief Executive of MTN Ghana, Stephen Blewett, is linking improved investments into broadband connection to the expansion of the economy. According to him, that's an area that could be explored to help in the recovery of the economy. Blewett spoke on the sidelines of the Ghana CEO Summit in Accra.
So if you have a 10% increase in broadband penetration in a country, the ITU, the International Telecommunication Union, did research around the world. You see a 2.5% growth in GDP. That's significant, just from an increase in 10% of broadband penetration. So that means we need to allow that to happen. And to have that happen, you need to give people access to devices at better prices. We've got to make sure that we have a quality network. We've got to make sure the pricing is also good so that people have access to use data. When you do that, you grow your economy. I mean, that's the reality. Yeah. So the important thing for us is that if you allow mobile or connectivity to grow, you grow economies. And that's a fact. It's proven around the world. So how we work in Ghana should be to allow the companies that are providing connectivity to grow. Allow them to develop, allow them to have the technologies, allow them to have the freedom to develop, because when they do that, they grow the GDP. And it's not because people take a narrow view. They look at us as telcos and see us as just as a telco, but we are a tech co. We go way beyond that, and we influence everyone's lives in terms of the services we offer on our platform business. So I think once you start to have that mindset, it allows for a growth of the economy, and that's the mindset we have to have.
Board Chairman of Development Bank Ghana, Dr. Yao Ansu, is upbeat about Ghana's fintech sector owing to the successful 3i Africa Summit held in Accra. According to him, the summit provided an array of opportunities for both experienced and upcoming entrepreneurs in the fintech space to learn and share other innovative ways of growing the financial landscape.
Our objective is to use this. We hope this will be one of many such events that will help establish Ghana as fintech hub. People talk about in Africa about fintech. They immediately think about Ghana because of the 3i Summit. The pillars of the 3i, innovation, investment, and impact. And I think for the first event, I mean, the scale, the quality of the presenters, the visitors, I think we were very happy. And it's something that we hope to build on, both in terms of the partnership with the BOG and also the Singaporean, so that we leverage Ghana into a recognized fintech hub for Africa.
The Economic Commission of West African States has reiterated the need for West African economies to leverage information communication technology in the pursuit of economic prosperity, peace and security. Speaking at an event to mark the 49th ECOWAS Day celebration, resident representative of ECOWAS in Ghana, Baba Gana Wakil, said it is virtually impossible for any economy to grow and compete favorably without developing critical digital assets and credentials. Here's a report.
Information communication technology has been described as a critical resource vastly needed to close the gap in efforts to achieve digital transformation in several vital sectors across the economy. Baba Gana Wakil is the resident representative of the ECOWAS Commission in Ghana.
Digitalization, in which, by the way, Ghana is doing very, very well in the sub-region, should not be limited to the economic landscape. It is also in the socio-political and security landscape, where digital tools such as cybersecurity and data analytics have become vital components in the fight against terrorism and other transnational crimes.
Vice Chancellor of the Ghana Communication Technology University, Professor Emmanuel Ohene Afuakwa, lauded ECOWAS for its continuous support in the digital space.
In an increasingly digitized world, ECOWAS, just like GCTU, is working towards bridging the digital divide and harnessing the potential of information and communication technologies to expand access to quality education, particularly in remote and underserved areas. As an institution, we believe that there is unbridled potential for the development of education and indeed development through education. And I anticipate that through the strengthening of our collaboration, our two organizations will be well placed to continue to make even more critical impact in the long-term development of the sub-region.
ECOWAS Day is celebrated every 28th of May to honor the vision of our founding fathers and the huge sacrifice of our member states and citizens in creating a single socio-economic and political space for peace and prosperity for all.
That'll be all for tonight on Prime Business. I am Emma Davis. For more business news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. I leave you with international business. Have a good evening.